Good morning, distinguished colleagues. Today we are discussing the formulation of the hospital antibiogram, a critical instrument that serves as the North Star for antimicrobial stewardship. Far from being a static list of percentages, the antibiogram is a living policy tool. As we face a global surge in multi-drug-resistant organisms, specifically the escape pathogens, including K. pneumoniae and A. baumannii, the ability of the microbiology laboratory to translate raw data into clinical strategy is our primary defense in reducing the heavy burden of healthcare-associated infections, HAIs. Slide 2. Definition and primary aims. By definition, an antibiogram is a periodic summary of local antimicrobial susceptibilities, typically updated annually. Our core objective is clinical precision, the right drug for the right bug. According to our sources, this ensures that we select only the patients who truly need treatment, maintain the availability of essential antibiotics, and most importantly, avoid the selective pressure that drives the emergence of resistant strains in high-risk environments like the ICU. Slide 3. Bases of a multidisciplinary antibiotic policy. A robust policy must be built on a multidisciplinary foundation involving the Infection Control Officer, ICO, and the HICC. When selecting agents for our guidelines, we look beyond simple susceptibility. We must evaluate the spectrum of activity, PK/PD parameters, adverse effects, and cost. Crucially, we must account for host factors detailed in the text, such as age, renal or hepatic dysfunction, and metabolic abnormalities, which fundamentally alter antibiotic performance in the critically ill. Slide 4. The de-escalation funnel, from empiric to targeted. We conceptualize therapy through a de-escalation funnel. We initiate broad-spectrum therapy based on the patient's severity and the specific organ involved. For example, choosing ceftriaxone for meningitis due to its superior tissue penetration. However, once the laboratory provides verified results, the antibiogram guides us to the point of the funnel, allowing for targeted de-escalation. This shift from empiric to pathogen-directed therapy is the cornerstone of reducing hospital stay and preventing the development of further resistance. Slide 5. Data integrity and the CLSI M39-A4 standards. To ensure our data is statistically valid and not a clinical red herring, we must strictly adhere to the CLSI M39-A4 filters. Filter 1. Include only final verified results and only fully susceptible data. Filter 2. Eliminate duplicates. We include only the first isolate per patient per period to avoid skewing data with repeat samples from chronically ill patients. Filter 3. A minimum threshold of 30 isolates per species is required for statistical significance. Filter 4. We must exclude all environmental surveillance isolates to ensure we are mapping clinical pathogens, not the hospital's background flora. Slide 6. Antibiogram typologies, syndrome-specific stewardship. While the cumulative standard antibiogram provides a hospital-wide baseline, the sources emphasize syndrome-specific stewardship. Focused antibiograms for indications like UTIs or respiratory infections are far more effective because they provide a targeted message that facilitates provider learning and reduces confounding variables when we attempt to measure clinical outcomes and adherence. Slide 7. The toolkit, stratification by location and pathogen. A merged hospital antibiogram is often a trap. Our toolkit must provide location-wise stratification, separating data for general wards from ICUs. Following the 80-90 rule, our templates should capture the pathogens that contribute to 80 to 90% of local infections. For maximum clinical utility, sensitive antibiotics must be displayed in strict descending rank order, allowing a clinician to identify the most effective agent at a glance. Slide 8. Evidence-based stratification, surgery versus OBG. Let's examine the evidence comparing general surgery and obstetrics gynecology. In one analyzed setting, E. coli susceptibility to meropenem was 85% in surgery but 100% in OBG. If we relied on blended hospital-wide data, we would face a massive failure of empiric therapy in general surgery while simultaneously driving unnecessary broad-spectrum use in OBG. This data proves that stratification is a clinical necessity, not just a preference. Slide 9. Implementation strategies starting with high-impact HAIs. We recommend starting with the infections where the impact on mortality and cost is highest. For instance, surgical site infections, or SSI, are the most costly type of HAI, adding an average of 7 to 11 days to a hospital stay. Similarly, ventilator-associated pneumonia, or VAT, carries a mortality rate of up to 40%. By building syndrome-specific protocols for these high-priority targets, we can provide meaningful evidence of benefit and measure direct cost savings. Slide 10. Driving adherence through the consensus loop. The Antibiogram's success depends on the consensus loop. We begin by analyzing recent local epidemiology from the laboratory. We then draft guidelines that incorporate de-escalation protocols. The most critical step is negotiating with frontline specialists, listening to their operational difficulties and doubts. Once agreed upon, the ICO must track adherence and provide specific, patient-level feedback to non-compliant prescribers during monthly HICC meetings. Slide 11. Integrating antibiograms into stewardship policy. The final document dictates the hospital's strategic framework, typically organized into 3 tiers. Tier 1, first line. Standard choices based on high local susceptibility for unhindered empiric therapy. Tier 2, restricted. Requires specific clinical indications to safeguard against resistance development. Tier 3, reserved. Last resort options for proven MDROs, requiring formal infectious disease or microbiology approval before use. Slide 12. Conclusion. The transformation to optimized care. In conclusion, a robust antibiogram transforms raw laboratory data into a living policy tool. By adhering to strict CLSI standards and fostering a cultural shift toward de-escalation, we fulfill our commitment to medical excellence. This process ultimately results in the reduction of unnecessary antibiotic use, lower hospital costs, and most importantly, optimized patient care. Thank you for your attention.